Θα θέλαμε να καλέσουμε στο βήμα τον κύριο Aniello Ertico, Presidente τη Porta Coeli Foundation, που θα μας αναπτύξει τη διεθνή συνεργασία στην εκπαίδευση και στην πολιτιστική έρευνα για τη δημιουργία μοντέλων συλλογικής ευημερίας. Ο κύριος Aniello Ertico είναι καθηγητής τραπεζικών και πολιτικών επιστημών και διεθνών σχέσεων, κλινικής κοινωνιολογίας και ψυχολογίας. Επιπλέον είναι πρόεδρος του ιδρύματος Porta Coeli, αντιπρόεδρος της Ιταλικής Κοινωνιολογικής Ένωσης και προσωρινός πρίτανης του Λαϊκού Πανεπιστημίου. Mr. Ertico, please.
Thank you and good morning to all. I will read my short speech to make sure I keep to the timetable. Of course, for me, it's a great pleasure to be able to participate in this important international meeting that offers us the opportunities to cross different experiences that can converge toward common goals. It's my hope. My brief interventions is based on my personal experience as a president of Porta Coeli Foundation and also as a deputy president of Italian Sociologists Association. Rather than offer answers, I prefer to share and to pose to all of you the two questions that inspire my intervention, very simple questions. At first, are we really free? I mean, are we free in our thoughts and consequently in our actions? The second question, what is currently the degree of evolution that characterized the world's populations? I believe that these two simple questions are decisive in order to guide any planning that has real meaning and utility in next years. With respect to the first questions, are we really free? We can attempt to give an answer, possible answer, by looking at the problem from a neuroscientific perspective. That is, imagining that freedom refers to the behaviors of individuals and that the behaviors are generated by thoughts, our thoughts. In this case, freedom is expressed through the adoption of choices in every days, our days. The ability to choose and the way we operate our choices determines in our degree of freedom. Choosing, we know, is a complex neurological ability that presupposes the existence of alternatives. I can choose whether there is a possibility or a need to orient myself in one direction or in one or more other possible directions. To choose, in other words, is to be able to exercise a mental ability, capacity, and consequent behavior. In the act, we qualify ourselves by expressing through our daily choices who we are and especially who we want to be. Neuroscientific studies have clearly shown that every day we are called upon to make choices. Every day, on average, an adult makes something like 30,000 choices every day, from the most trivial to the most important, from those that are simply useful to those that determine a decisive impact on his or her own life and the lives of others. The same studies shows that 95, I repeat, 95% of choices we make every day are generated by process automatic. Choices that not go through any evaluation process of analyzing the situation. Simply choices that arise from habits or learnings made in similar circumstances lived in our past. Only 5% of our choices are conscious. In other words, our mind controls almost all of our choices. This is equivalent to say that our brain and then also our emotions related to truths manage our identity without awareness intervening. It is equivalent to say that we respond to our brain and have lost the ability to use our brain to determine our free will. Other less recent but still interesting studies have been concerned with determining the evolution of individuals and communities around the world. In particular, Dr. Flynn, you know for sure him, a neuropsychologist, demonstrated how until the last century, the IQ, the intelligent level of the world population, steadily increased every 10 years on average. IQ went up as much as 7 or 8 points every 10 years. Human intelligence grew until it almost doubled from the previous 50 years. This is evolution. Flynn himself, anyway, showed that beginning in the early 21st century, the process reserved so rapidly that we can speak of reverse Flynn effect. IQ decreases every 10 years by as much as 9 points. From 2004 till 2018, there have been many studies that have tried to discover the reason for the intellectual decline of the world's population. And it has been determined that the most likely causes are not genetic, but because environmental, social, and educational evolution. In short, we can think also we are living in the time of maximum evolution of humanity, but it is only technical evolution. Children are, as it seems, will be less intelligent than their parents. And this is the first time in the history of humanity. In short, we live in time where our choices are automatic, and even when they are not, even when we can consciously process and make them, we find fewer and fewer intellectual resources able to guide our behaviors. It seems to me that this consideration represents the real emergency in our time. While we delude ourselves like an illusion that we are working for development, we have lost sight of the concept of progress. We all know that development is measured by numbers. At the contrary, progress is only measured by perceived improvement in the quality of life. Going back to the ability to choose, if we were really able to make informed choices, should we prefer numbers or quality of life? For a long time, it seems, we have been preferring numbers automatically because adhering to common thinking. The result is dramatic. Countries' wealth increases and humanity's capacity, abilities for both intelligence and behavior decreases. We have put at risk the freedom we so delude ourselves into believing we possess. It appears really urgent then to return to work for human beings, to return to humanistic culture that puts the individual and the community at the center. The price to be paid if we do not work in this direction is very, very high. A very powerful tool toward these goals is undoubtedly the educational process, which, starting with the family and social structures, crosses over into school and college education. For learning is not simply the acquisition and memorization of information or simply knowledge. Learning is a complex process that produces stable changes in behavior as a result of repeated experience over and over time. Teaching, on the other side, since it is a practice that determines the possible evolution of human beings, for better, also for worse. For this reason, my foundation has been engaging since the last 12 years in designing and implementing either education interventions for the benefit of international students interested in arts, for example, but also in cultural management and development of human potential. We do this by operating in small context, as in the case of municipality as Armento and San Chirico Raparo village, where thanks to the high level of sustainability and quality of life, it is possible to devote care and to planning and individual mentoring of learners. This vocation and philosophy of ours, which inspires the activity of Porta Coeli Foundation, is made available to possible international partners, starting with the Nafpaktos monastic community, with whom we have been collaborating on the artistic side for over 12 years. The implementation of higher education intervention with international students who can gain experience both at our offices in Italy and here in Greece, in the city of Nafpaktos, seems to me to be a coherent objective, perhaps daring, but certainly very motivating because it is capable of interpreting the most pressing needs of our time and offering answers that the new generation absolutely have a right to. For this reason, I invite all the estimated speakers to want to join this possible experience that could place Nafpaktos at the center of educational activities according to a dedicated project with a high international vocation. My foundation is an academy recognized and authorized by the regional government in Basilicata, is immediately available to activate initiative reserved for Greek students and more in generally for international students, also by carrying out stage out our places in Italy. Really, thank you for your attention, for your patience, and for whatever each of you would like to do for the common good. For intellectual people, this is not a possibility. I'm sure this is and this must be a must. Thank you very much.